Let's go. I wake up to a little bit of drool on my pillow, feel like it's gonna be a bad day. Yeah, I'm tired of shit, and the coffee ain't hit yet, damn, ain't that great. I don't wanna go to work, cause my boss is a jerk, and I'm not even that paid. I need a change in my life, cause I don't feel alive, and there's nothing that makes me happy. Hold my beer for a minute, I'm about to quit my job, cash in for a ticket. I'm going on a trip and I don't plan to visit. I'm gonna stay there till I feel like I'm winning, and this is just the beginning. I need a big change, help me feel like living. I need a big swing, home runs I'm hitting, and I'll never look back, moving on till I get it all. And we all got dreams, we all want things, but what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? And do you believe you can do anything? But what you gonna do for it? How you gonna move for it? What you gonna be? Yeah, this is my life, my strife, my right to fight, to die on. And this is my game to play, to claim a brand new name, And I ain't gonna lie to you, I'm a bit nervous that I might screw everything up that I've ever done. But what's the point of living if you ain't having fun?
I'm Tyler Paul. I own Refreshed Hotrods Restorations here in Wetaskiwin, Alberta. We just mostly specialize in the older stuff, body paint, fabrication, light mechanical. Been doing this pretty much my whole career. There's 5 of us here, from journeymen to apprentices. And yeah, we've been in Wetaskiwin here for about 3 years now. Before that, we were in Camrose for a while. So I've been doing this line of work since I was 15. I got a summer job at a body shop, and then that turned into work experience, and then that turned into the registered apprenticeship program. And then I worked at that shop for around 8 years, and then moved to Calgary, worked at a high-end restoration shop there, and then moved back, started my own thing. My daily driver is a pretty bone stock new 3/4 ton Ram. Just slap some 14 wides on 24s on it, and I just drive that daily. Before that, actually, this white truck here was my daily before I sold it. Cummins swapped F350, so cool. Luckily we sold it to a guy, and he brought it back for a full frame off build. It's going to be pretty gnarly.
That's cool.
Oh, what other cars and projects do I own? I own this one right here, this Cornet. I've got a couple old jalopies in the yard. Other than that, my fleet's pretty slim right now. I've still got my original truck that I built way back in the day.
Yeah.
It's not much left of it, but one day I'll get back to her and piece her back together. And
what kind of truck is that?
it's a 92 F-150 extended cab flare side. Car I sold that I wish I still had. I had my very first car when I was 16. My dad hooked me up solid with a 1973 Oldsmobile 98. It was a 4-door hardtop, had a big block in it, and that car was mint. Like, not a speck of rust, not a tear in the interior. I was 16. I took the steering wheel off, put a chain link steering wheel on it, and 2 15-inch kicker solo barracks, and wanted to put that car on juice, but had no idea what I was doing. So
yeah.
I sold that car a couple years later, and actually to this day I search Kijiji religiously for a 1973 Oldsmobile 98, because I will buy one and I will build it how I wanted when I was 16.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What got you into cars?
Well, it's funny because I always liked cars. I was, as a kid, dinky cars and model cars, but I got a subscription when I think I was turning 13 or 14 from a family member. I got a subscription to Mini Truck Magazine, and in that magazine, there was all that wild paint and, you know, body kits back then, and Master Rosa body kits and Roadster tops. And I found myself really loving the paint aspect.
Yeah.
So I went through, you know, had a job at Canadian Tire or whatever. And then I just decided one day, I was like, I really want to paint cars. So I tossed a bunch of resumes in a backpack and I wandered around town and to every body shop I could find. And the one body shop when I was 15 gave me a job, and, you know, started DAing tanker trucks and learning how to paint.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's super cool. Is there any special thanks or shout outs you want to give for your company, starting your company?
Oh yeah, like I'd like to thank my wife for sure, because she's the one that pushed me to get back into it and pursue my passion of owning a business and building the best work that we can do. Without her, it wouldn't happen for sure. She keeps everything in line, and I got to show up and play with cars every day, so it's kind of a dream come true, I guess. My in-laws, her parents really helped. Her dad's an electrician, so he helped me like wire things up, which is freaking expensive, so he hooked me up with that. And all the man hours of renovating the building and setting things up, it's crazy, right? And maintaining it. So I'd like to thank them for that. My staff. Without my staff, I mean, I do like one car a year. You know, we've got like 7 or 8 in here right now. So my group that I've got here is solid. I got a really good journeyman and some really good apprentices that have the desire and passion for the cars. So without them, it wouldn't happen either, right? So, but yeah, like pretty much everybody, all my clients, my staff, my wife, my in-laws, my parents. Well, this business is kind of funny. I had a friend of mine's family that wanted me to build them a truck, so we got started on that. And then I had a older customer of mine phone me and want me to finish one of his trucks, so we got onto that, and that really ballooned my business into what it is now, because right out of the gate I got hit with 2 really good quality builds, which is rare for a lot of people starting out. The one truck that we finished got shot in a magazine last year, which kind of opened the door to new clientele, and we just kind of ballooned, you know, and the growth hasn't stopped. It's always something new, something next. As far as funny stories go or anything, I don't really know. We just work.
Yeah.
We just do
Working
cool
hard,
shit.
getting shit done,
work on cars.
That's awesome. Okay.
They call me a god. 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 Let's go.
So this is my 1967 Cornet 500. It's originally a 318 wide block car. I found this car in Calgary, just outside of Calgary. And I got it off an older gentleman who had had it for a long time. He had started a restoration on it. It was painted. The interior had been redone. He had stuck the engine in it, but then couldn't get it to run. I don't know what his story was, but it sat for 12 years after putting this motor in it. Got to an age where he kind of gave up, knew he wasn't going to get it done, so he listed it for sale. I raced up there, picked it up, got it back. Shop was full, so I took it to my house and I played with it in the evening and found wiring problems and fuel delivery issues. I got it to run in my garage, and then I hauled it here, did the suspension, wheels, drove it for a bit. The paint on it was pretty bad, modelly and runs everywhere, so I couldn't really drive it around too terribly much like that. So I actually had my apprentices sand this car down, and we put it in the booth. They masked it up, and we painted it flat charcoal. So it's a Mitsubishi charcoal gray with a flat clear coat on it.
looks so good.
It was in the booth. It was all flat charcoal. It was still masked up. My wife came in with my girls and they watched us paint it. And my wife said, you know what, the roof needs to be black. So the next day I had them mask the roof off and we shot it gloss black.
Yeah.
Which was perfect.
Yeah.
It hit it right on the head. So after it was flat charcoal with the gloss roof, it kind of changed directions with the attitude the car had. So then I started thinking I wanted it to have more of an aggressive vibe. So I added a chin spoiler, which is actually just 2 square body S10 valences that I cut in half. Just made it the right width. And then added a rear spoiler in the back that we made out of 1/4-inch aluminum and routed the edges. And then I wanted to do a hood. I didn't want the big mailbox style hood that these cars get. They look awesome for the muscle car vibe, but I wanted something just more aggressive than that. So I was snooping through a junkyard and this guy had a Chevy truck and it had this style hood on it, this hood. It was a Viper replica, so it was the center was very narrow.
Yeah.
And the fins were really far back. And I asked him if he'd sell the hood, and he said he would. What are you going to put it on? I'm like, I'm going to put it on my 67 Cornet. He's like, well, that won't fit. I'm like, well, obviously it's not going to fit. So we got it back here, and I got to it right away. It's my own personal car, so I don't have a whole lot of time to allot to it. So I immediately cut it apart, widened the scoop, moved the fins forward, fit it to the hood, trimmed the hood out. So it is a fiberglass hood molded to a steel hood, but I used good quality products and bonded it inside and out, molded it in. And I love how it looks.
Yeah. Looks killer.
It's like a mix between a Hellcat hood and a Viper hood.
Yeah.
And I got it to line up with these body lines here, which was perfect. I had a white interior, which was mint, but I hated it. Always dirty.
Yeah.
And little too soft for the vibe I wanted the car to have. So I pulled the whole interior out and changed it to red. It's Inferno red. It's a GM interior color, but I felt with the black and the charcoal, the red really flowed well.
The perfect color combo.
Few things left to do to it, like I'm gonna do hidden headlights and some side skirts and a little diffuser in the back, something subtle, not crazy, but just to add to it. I have a coilover setup I'm gonna do in the trunk, so it'll have cantilever coilovers in the trunk to the axle, and then maybe some sound, and then I'm gonna sell it.
Don't do
so
that.
Somebody can buy it.
Do that. What engine trans?
So it's a small block 318 Magnum. Find them in like a Dodge Dakota or a Ram in the 90s.
Yeah.
It's a brand new engine from Dodge Performance that the older gentleman had put in. And it runs great, but it lacked horsepower. So I actually put a Vortex supercharger on it that I found off of a guy in BC. It was off a Dakota RT. So it literally just installed itself. Then I added a blow-through Phytech and had my buddy Dario at Infamous Motorcraft dyno it for me and tune it. And he got 308 horse to the wheels. So that little 318, she pulled some pretty good ponies.
Yeah.
And now it's really fun to drive.
Yeah.
It's not so much power that it's frightening, but it's enough power to suck you back pretty good. So I enjoy it. I'm going to do a 5-speed swap too. Get rid of the automatic and do a 5-speed standard.
Nice.
Yeah.
Favorite shows to take it to?
Favorite shows to take it to? I have literally taken this thing to one car show. I guess 2. I took it to a small town car show just outside of town that we sponsored right after we had painted it. and that was fun. But we took it to the Radium Car Show this year. They finally had it again.
Yeah.
And me and my girls, my wife, I have 3 daughters, so my wife and my 3 daughters, we jumped in it and took it to Radium, stayed in Invermere, and that was an absolute blast.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was great. Cruised around. It still wasn't tuned 100%, but it was still fun to drive, and we'll hit it next year for sure.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
How often do you drive it?
Oh, not often enough. Before it was painted, I drove it quite a bit, and now I've just been working on it every once in a while, right? So I'll drive it to work, and the next thing you know, when it's at work, I'm sneaking into the parking lot and tinkering with it. So I try to leave it at home as much as possible. Yeah. But I drive it for a fair amount. I don't know how many kilometers I've put on it, but enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to chuckle with myself because I have the shop and I have all the tools in the world. And when I bought the car, I took it to my house, and I have a little tool chest for my son who's 14 that's got random shit in it. And I'm trying to get this car running with a light bulb I found and some speaker wire to test wires, and a crescent wrench that's way too small for anything that it needs. A framing hammer to bang things loose. But it brought me back to how, I started and didn't have tools. I had my parents' garage and, some carpentry shit, but we had a good laugh over that. But,
that's awesome.
And then my wife opening the door all the time, wondering if I'm coming inside because I'm in the garage playing with my car. But,
yeah.
No, it was fun. Well, when I first bought it, I got it running. I didn't really do a bolt check on this thing, and the guy had done a restoration on it. My brother and I jumped in it. We cooked it down the road, and the drive shaft fell right out of it. And I crawled underneath there to look, and there was no bolts there was only one bolt holding the U-joint to the drive shaft. So after that, we did a complete bolt check from front to back. But and I found washers in between the wheels, and
oh goodness.
So yeah, bolt checks are pretty important, especially if you buy something from somebody.
Yeah.
But that was probably the funniest thing that happened. Yep.
Ever gotten in any trouble in the car?
I have not gotten in any trouble with the car yet. I'm sure I will.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty hard to keep your foot out of it, but so far I've been lucky. So far.
Any shout outs or thanks you want to give for working on and building?
Oh, shout outs and thanks. Well, just to my guys. My young guys, they took this in. I said, hey, I want you guys to learn on it, and because I can't set them loose on a $150,000 car, but this one's mine. You can, if you get a little orbital dig in or something, it's not a big deal.
Yeah.
We're going flat, so they enjoyed that, and it's just good learning base because my guys, the young guys, they hadn't put a Pro Charger on something before, so we bring it in, we put a supercharger on it. I've got one guy that's super mechanical. He's coming into the shop. Hey, I read this last night. This is good. We should do this. We should do that. And I like seeing that because it's just knowledge that they learn, and it's going to benefit us in the future, but it's going to benefit them for sure.
Definitely, yeah.
And that's kind of what this car is. I bought a hood off a junkyard. I said, we're going to mold it into this car. And they're like, what do you mean? And you show them and you do it. And now they're not scared to do that stuff, right? So I owe that to this car because it's a lot of knowledge base that we did a lot of different things. Now we're going to do a 5-speed swap.
Yeah.
So we'll get the boys involved and, put a clutch pedal in it, hydraulic clutch, put the tranny in. It'll be good. And that's what I like to use this for, is just get my guys, young guys, into it. Like I was lucky when I was young, I had a boss that just, I'm like, I want to shave my door handles. Do it.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a welder. So I kind of like to look back at that and be that same kind of employer for my young guys.
That's awesome.
Get them in here and let them play with this stuff.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what this thing is. It's not perfect, but it's fun.
For the shop or anything?
This thing, only thing I want to mention is it's not done. It's gonna get better and better and better, and then when she is done, like I said, I mean, somebody could own it one day.
Yeah.
She'll be for sale, but when we're done with her. And yeah, just thanks for coming and shooting it.
Yeah, awesome.
Hey guys, thanks for checking out this video. I had a blast filming this with Tyler at Refreshed Hotrods and Restorations. The Cornet, amazing car, super fun, super cool. Tyler's a really cool guy and I'm looking forward to working with him again in the future. If you haven't already subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel. Just by subscribing, you get a chance to win a Cruise Culture magazine hoodie and the latest copy of Cruise Culture magazine. This one is October's issue. If you don't want to wait for your chance to win one of these hoodies, you can go to our website at cruisecultureapparel.com and you can order them. We've also got t-shirts, hats, beanies, you name it.